Another week, another new ranking. It always will beg the question of what if? What if Georgia were to lose on Saturday against Alabama and all the other teams that are undefeated win? What would happen? Will it be Alabama at number 4? Will they jump Texas? Would it be Texas because they hold that tiebreaker against Alabama? Or would they just put Georgia because they are the back-to-back championship holders and they only had one loss and it was in the championship game, maybe close? So that is the question that I'm bringing to you. Please put that in the comments right here, right now, what you guys think it is. And the rankings are very interesting to me because, yes, we have Ohio State, which is not a surprise to me, but a surprise to a lot of other people who have watched my channel before and have said Ohio State should be behind Alabama. But Alabama has a good resume. Texas has a good resume. Ohio State has a good resume. But no one's ever talking about Oregon. Oregon's resume, as of right now, there's only 2 teams on this list that they've played. Yes, they've played teams that were ranked overall as time progressed, and they're no longer on this list. But we're talking about right here, right now, in this week, where we show what has Oregon done and what does their opponents have done. And there's only 2 people, and I don't know why there's a lot of discussion of why Ohio State hasn't played anyone. They've played plenty of people. Penn State. They played Michigan. They've played Notre Dame. They're all still ranked. They played Oregon State. They played Washington. Well, they beat Colorado in the AP poll week 4. Colorado has not even a bowl game. They beat freaking Utah. Utah is barely 500. Like, what are we really saying here? So let's go through each of these one-loss teams and see what happens. First team we're going to look at is Texas. They hold that head-to-head against Alabama, holding that Big 12 wall against the SEC right now. Look at their resume. They beat 25 Kansas. They're 8-4 right now. Yeah, they're sitting pretty. They beat Oklahoma State 9-3, ranked 18. They lost to Oklahoma, but their one loss is to a 10-2 team sitting at 12. I know Oklahoma's not playing for the Big 12 championship, but they're sitting 10-2. It's a good loss. It was a close game. It wasn't like they got blown out. And they beat Alabama, who's sitting one spot behind them at 11-1, competing for the SEC title game. So that begs the question, will Alabama jump them if Alabama wins the SEC title game, even though Texas has a good resume? They have a good set of wins. Yeah, if they do win, they're going to beat Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State will probably drop out of the rankings or bump another team that is not as good, maybe go down to just above K-State. But that begs the question, should Texas hold that tiebreaker because of that head-to-head? Alabama, they have a great resume. Look at this. Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee. Yeah, and they're one loss to Texas, which is one level ahead of them. Ole Miss sitting at 11. LSU, 13. Tennessee, 21. Only 4-loss team on this list is Tennessee, and they're still sitting at 21, higher than Texas's 4-loss team. LSU's the highest ranked at 3-loss team at 13. Ole Miss is the 4th ranked team in the SEC behind Missouri. So the SEC schedule is on paper tougher than what Texas has played. Alabama has competed at a higher level than Texas. Texas goes toe-to-toe with teams like TCU. They go toe-to-toe with teams like Kansas. Alabama, yeah, they had their 1 week against Auburn, that rivalry week, but they've been pretty good overall, except for that hiccup right at the beginning of the season when they played Texas. They haven't found themselves. I would say Alabama's a better team than Texas, but they do hold that head-to-head. Next team, we have Oregon, the team that everyone's saying is so good. They do this, they do blow teams out. They're like the Michigan of the Pac-12, but they haven't played nobody. These are the 2 teams that are still ranked. The teams that have any skill. Oregon State sitting at 8-4, ranked 20, and then they have 1 loss to Washington, who's 12-0. The Pac-12 was looking not as strong as it was at the beginning of the season in the AP poll when USC was ranked. Utah was ranked. Colorado was ranked at least a couple times. Washington State had a ranking run at least 1 week, but most of those teams aren't even 500 anymore. So is the Pac-12 as strong as it was at the beginning of the season? I would say no. I would say that the Pac-12 isn't as strong of a conference, and I would argue that if Oregon beat Washington and Alabama beat Georgia, I would put Alabama ahead of Oregon because Texas is going in there, because Texas is going to beat Oklahoma State. So it'll be Texas and Alabama ahead of Oregon. I would even put Georgia ahead of Oregon, even though they lost the lost the SEC title just out of sheer resume alone. Yeah, Oregon has been dominating teams, but they've been dominating what? Teams that suck. Yeah, they score 40 points on Colorado. So what? The lone survivor here is Ohio State. There's a lot of things that need to happen for Ohio State, but Ohio State even has a better resume than Oregon. Look at this. They've barely lost to Michigan, sitting at 12-0, ranked 2. Penn State beat Penn State, 10-2 team, top 10 team. Notre Dame 9-3, sitting at 17. Penn State beat Iowa. Just a chain of events here. Penn State beat Iowa 30-0. You think Ohio State couldn't go into Kinnick right now and beat Iowa? I would think not. And Iowa is a top 25 team right now, 10-2. They just have a better conference than the Pac-12 right now. There's more ranked teams from the Big Ten than the Pac-12. So I would even go so far as to say Ohio State could even be over Oregon right now. But Oregon is winning a lot, so that's why I like to compare them to Michigan, but with a loss. So they're being held back versus like if they were to beat Washington that first week. We're all full circle. We're back to Georgia. We're back to the key victors here. If Georgia loses, who's getting in? Alabama, because they beat the number 1 team. Texas, because they hold that head-to-head against Alabama. Will it be Georgia? Just out of sheer back-to-back championships, and I guess you can't punish them because they only lost 1 game in the SEC title game, and they're the defending champions 2 years in a row. Who knows? Please like and subscribe. Make a comment. We love discussions here on the channel. And that's going to be it for this video. Peace.